What's going on, guys? It's Spartan B here, and today we have My Hero Ultra Impact. My Hero Academia, bro. This game is great. I've been playing it since it came out, like a couple of hours after. Like, I wasn't staying up for like when it actually came out, which was like 5 o'clock my time, 5 a.m. my time. But I did get in like a little bit after that, and I've been playing since. So I basically just wanted to get a guide out, just beginners and, you know, free to play, how to maneuver, whether you're free to play, semi pay to win, full on whale, doesn't matter. All these tips are gonna help you out regardless. So this is like the best time to start playing the game, I'm gonna be honest. Hopefully you've been playing since launch, because before I even jump into anything, this right here is what sets the game on fire. This has been in my opinion, this has been the greatest thing about the launch of this game. And there are many other like factors that go into it as well that makes this game so great. Especially when you consider the fact that this game brings about like all the little features that I've looked at in gotchas that I've played over the years, where I'm like, this is great. If they just improve this a little bit more, man, would it be good. It's exactly what they did. It's exactly what they did. So I'm just start off with the shop. This feature right here, the select all, buy all, that automatically is just nuts. I have to get that out. That is amazing. But before you even get into like any of the stuff I'm about to talk about, the first thing you need to do when you play this game is figure out exactly who it is that you want to go for, and then just build around that individual. And the reason I say that is because when you go to units, who I started out with, as you can see, Team Uraraka, I'm Team Uraraka. You can't convince me any other way. They have abilities, I'm just gonna slide here, where they are buffing a specific archetype. And this specific archetype happens to be intelligence. This is the intelligence tag right here. There are 5 tags. There is strength, there's ability, there's intelligence. So strength is red, ability is blue, intelligence is green, mind is yellow. In dark space, for whatever reason they named it that, is purple. So we're gonna use Uraraka as the benchmark in pretty much everything that you do in this game. I'm gonna just flat out say it. Uraraka is one of the best units in the game. She's easily like one of the best supports, if not the best support in the game. Her entire kit's just filled out like completely. She has everything that you would pretty much want. The only thing that she's missing is cleanse. If she had cleanse, she'd be like the best unit in the game, straight up, in my opinion. But on her ultimate, her plus ultra, which you have a gauge that fills that up, she does decent damage to a single opponent. Pretty much every unit in the game is doing, on their ultimate anyway, they're doing single target damage. Tomura is the one exception as far as I've seen thus far. I haven't played with every single unit or played against every single unit, but he's really he's one of the best units in the game, in my opinion. Whichever one you pick, he's one of the best units in the game. Him, this Uraraka, Strength Deku, Strength All Might, easily one of the best units in the game. Momo as well, one of the best units in the game. Todoroki also a really good unit because of his utility and his damage. But well, you know, we'll get into that. Let's just focus on Uraraka for right now. So here's why I'm saying, like, for me, I was just gonna start with Uraraka no matter what. I really didn't care what she did or what anybody else did until I started looking at the units, and you could see them when you know, play through the game and you get the free pool, the unlimited free pool, as many times as you want. I'm really glad they gave this to global because it was absolutely necessary. So I was gonna pick her, and then I was just gonna, you know, build stuff around it. And then I started seeing what the units did. So I initially wanted the combo of Uraraka and Hawks, because Hawks gives evasion when you, I believe it was speed up or speed down. It was one of the two. And you also just get it like straight up when the match starts for intelligence characters, from what I've seen. Because I don't have Hawks, but I played against them, and that's what I've seen. So I was thinking about that, but you know, it didn't work out that way. At first, I got Uraraka and I got Momo. I'm like, we could do better than that. And so kept going. I was like, oh, there's two, but I want Uraraka. Uraraka has to be one of the units that I get. I ended up getting 3, so I'm gonna just get out of here. The 3 that I got was Uraraka right here, Shoto, Todoroki right there, and Momo. Those were the 3 that I got. I started off with 3. As far as I know, that's, you know, that's what I was happy with. I don't know if you can get more than 3. You probably can. I'm not sure if there's a limit. I'm pretty sure it's just like whatever, you know, you're able to pull. I'm not sure. I'm sure somebody will let me know, but yeah. So you get crit rate on your, you know, plus ultra, so you want to make sure her gauge is filled up as soon as possible, because then she buffs the rest of the team. It's not conditional on typing, it's just straight up all allies, which is dope. Then on her regular skill, she restores allies HP by 30, and she also gives all of them the ability to evade any attack one time. Here's the thing, evasion's broken. Evasion's one of the best buffs in the game, and she gets that on a heal. What that does, you can dodge ultimates with this. This will carry you, this will single-handedly carry you not through just PvE, but PvP as well when you time it correctly. And speed tiers are a thing, so you also want to make sure that you have the proper speed tiers in order to utilize this. And it doesn't just stop there, because you think like, oh, that makes her, you know, pretty good. She's sitting around like D tier, almost A tier. No, she gets better. So she has the ability to completely nullify normal attacks and counter them for 3 turns, and she's increasing her power by 30% for 3 turns. That is huge. You know why that is huge? Because she's also increasing her power again, so she's getting 50% of an increase in her damage when these two are, and this is just a flat one. This can be canceled. This one can be canceled. Like someone like Shota can cancel it, and that's kind of his, you know, thing. There's some niche abilities in the, you know, it's pretty well rounded. They made sure to make Uraraka like really good though, which I'm very happy about, because she's one of my favorite characters in the series. But not only that, she increases her speed when she has evasion. So it doesn't matter if it's her own that she's getting evasion from or somebody has given it to her, like a Hawks. She gets an increase in her speed, which is huge. And then when you go later into the game, you'll get these, you know, these unlocked here, which they're skills, which give you extra abilities. And you unlock this it's basically near the end of the game, at least currently what's available that's in game. I think it's chapter 8 or 9. Pretty sure it's 9. Is it 9? I think it's 9. Somewhere in that. You're going into chapter 9, so it's like 8:18. But yeah, you clear that and then you have this available, and it's the same thing for memories, which I'll get into in a second. But skill impact is these abilities here. This is what skill impact is, and this counts. The reason this is like massive as well, it goes into like the super advanced tech of the game. So I'll actually hold off on that, but it's pretty important. The reason that it's important, and the reason that I'm not going into it now, is because it's on this memory. So you have your benchmark, you have your core, you need a core. You need to set your team up something like this. You do not want a mix and match of characters, because they have buffs like this Uraraka, which I'll show you here, because Momo's another character, and so is Edgerobe, aka Red Riot, who have this ability. So I'll just go straight to it here. As you can see, she's an ability type character. She's increasing the power of all ally ability characters. Again, Momo is one of the best supports and characters in the game to me, because of the fact that she has such good utility. She is able to, if this was just like all ailments, I would just definitively say she's like top 10, but there's room to be had. I still think she's top 10 personally, but she's canceling, and it's because of like the utility that they have. And this this would be a reoccurring thing for me personally. It's worked out for me. Is yet to not be true for me. So as far as I'm concerned, like the way you build your team is either like super speedy and able to like one cycle people, or you're able to outlast the damage and then just outright beat them because they have nothing left afterwards. And I see this as a huge problem with the way people build their teams already, and it's why I've been able to beat I've not dropped a single game in Arena yet, and we'll get to Arena in a second, but I haven't dropped a single game of Arena because of this reason. And it's not like I'm picking weaker people than me. I was in the beginning, but I'm fighting people who are around my skill level or more, and the secret one doesn't let you know if they're stronger than you or not. And I haven't skipped a single one of those, and I've won every single one of those. So I just looked at the units in the roll. I rolled a lot. I didn't roll too much. I actually was able to get, once I got those three, I just stopped. But I saw a good amount of the units already. So just seeing what they could do, and just going through Arena as well, and seeing like the damage output that they have, I have a really good insight. I have a lot of information on what characters do what, how good they are, for how long they're good for, and I'm able to prioritize specific units and just completely like steamroll in just like proper planning, right? This is why like having a roadmap for this game in particular is like so vital, because without it, you're not gonna have a good time. So again, going back to Momo, she's not awakened right now, but I'm working on that, and I'll get right into the next thing that I want to talk about, the ability board, just as soon as I go to this level up tab. But I'll go through her kit and explain why I think she's one of the best units. And it's because she has decent damage. She has honestly some really good damage. It's multi-hit as well. She has multi-hits on her action, which is AoE, and it decreases the speed of opponents by 15% for 3 turns, which is pretty huge. Actually pretty huge. She has a really nice supporting cast kit. It's really good. She also prevents allies from getting status while she's out in the field. And once per battle, she increases her ultra gauge if her HP is reduced below 50, which is pretty good. This is what I have for her to just, make sure she's doing damage here, because otherwise it's not going to hit that hard. And there's also critical hit increase here. So whenever she crits her, this is basically crit damage, by the way. The skill impact increase for critical hits. That's basically this game's version of crit damage. So it's pretty massive. Also here with the extra skills, you see that she's reducing normal attack damage by a lot. Same thing with ultra moves. Whenever she gets hit by it for one turn, whenever that happens, and then for one time only, she's reducing the damage that she takes by 20% when she comes in. So she has a really good amount of survivability. This is what I have her set up with. And then here is what I'll get into as well. These are another way that you can, you know, fill out your character's stat lines. And it's really important that you do this because, as you can see, those are percentages. Those will never be flat. They will always be percentages. When you get to the point where you can roll stats, it will always be percentages. So you need to make sure these are filled out, not just this, but, you know, make sure you're leveling up your characters as well, because that's the majority of where they're going to be gaining that outside the ability board. When you get to the ability board, then that changes. And this one here, there are different routes. So there's peace routes and there's sorry about that. Goodness gracious. I have no idea why that happens sometimes, but it's like either dust or like choking on, you know, saliva, which I'm sure people have done before. But yeah, there's the basic route, which I'll head over to. And as you can see, I'm on this tier in which, you know, he's a awakener. And you can see here, if you see this and you're like, oh man, I need dupes. Nah, this is where this is, now we're getting into the meat and potatoes of why this game is like one of the best games ever. You can be completely free to play in this game and do so well. Dominate, I don't know about dominate, but you'll be pretty high up. You definitely be top 100 if you're playing every day. Easily top 100, top 50 as well if you're super dedicated. Top 10 even. You could like the potential is like endless. It's boundless. It's limitless. The sky is the limit with this game. I've already leveled, you know, up a lot of this stuff, and you can see there's base stats here, a lot of speed, power. So you want to make sure that you're doing this like now. And as you can see, I've been, you know, I've been using it, but I've also been like grinding a lot of these as well. Like some of these don't get used as much, but I would say in the beginning, until you complete like the entire story up to like, yeah, basically the end, or like certain points in which you can grind these out, I would say don't like go super crazy with grinding stuff, just because as you can see, there's different options, right? There's different options in which you can get different materials, and depending on what your team needs, you might want to grind on different ones. And some of these are universal, in which you're going to use them like for every character. Like this here, the pop bottle is one of them, I believe. Yeah, the health can is one of them. The speed can is one of them. Just because it's on here, you're going to see like certain items, like the medium light will be specifically for ability, but some of these, like the can and this one here, you should see power. You think, oh, that should be for strength, right? Nope, it's for everyone. It's universal. So certain places you're going to want to grind a lot more of these out. As you can see here, some of them overlap, and these are the ones you want to be looking out for. And this is why I say you should make sure that you farm like late game. You need to farm like go crazy with farming late game. You need to make sure you like get to end game as soon as you possibly can while the game is launched, because they set this up. They set this up so beautifully, bro. And I'll show this off next. So, I'm not that. My stamina, you can see, like, make sure your stamina is looking like mine as well. As you can see, it says 70 gems to refresh, right? You're looking like, wow, that's a lot. No. Today's restores, right? I've refreshed my stamina 20 times. It starts off at 10, and that goes for like a set number of times. And it goes to 20 for a set number of times. And it goes to 30 for a set number of times. And it's quite a few times. Then it goes to 50 for a set number of times. Then 60, then 70. I have not went past this, and I've saved a lot of my... I've spent thousands of gems at this point. Just on, like, refreshes. I'm not even joking. And people who have grinded out to where I am, know that that's not a joke. Let me check my friends list. So yeah, as you can see, like rank 50, and there's like, yeah, there's quite a few. I don't remember where I go to check like the top people. Where's that at? But yeah, that's it's a lot, man. It's a lot to think about. It's a lot to have to consider when you're looking at your team. Same thing with your memories. Memories are super important as well. As you can see here on Omae Wa, she's basically built to survive. Not only survive, but be able to do more damage longer the fights go as a support. Because the thing is, right, I've set my team up to where I've set them up to where there's not a single unit here that you can ignore. None of the characters on my team you can ignore. You have to kill all of them. But I do have a core. And the core that I decided to settle on was Rerolling and Neji. These two together, you have to kill both of them. You actually have to kill both of them. If you don't kill both of them, and I made it so they're unkillable, you're not gonna win against my team. So basically, she does damage. She increases the ultra gauge of all allies, excluding herself, which is unfortunate, by 15. And she also gives them HP regen for 15% of their HP for 3 turns, excluding herself. Excuse me. So that's like the only thing about Neji that's like unfortunate, but she makes up for it by not only healing a single ally by 25%, and it's going to be like the lowest one pretty much. That's generally how I've seen it go. She increases the power of that same ally for 3 turns, and everyone else gets 25%. So one's going to get 50 of their max HP. It's their max, not her max, but their max, which is, you could argue whether or not that's good or bad. I think it's sitting on the side of like better than worse, depending on how you have her built. Mine is built, you know, super like mass. She has the most HP. She has the most HP out of anybody, so it'd be more beneficial for me, but it's, you know, super trivial. She also has a really good skill here. She's decreasing the power of all opponents by 20%, which is massive considering like when you get into the skills that you can set on and re-roll for. Being able to increase power is like massive. Not only that, but she's giving ultra gauge, which is huge as well, because that's honestly where a lot of the power comes from these units, especially that strength Deku. Because I've seen him hit my team, which, you know, power advantage. I'm pretty sure he hit, who did he hit? I think he hit my Shoto for like 80,000, which is absurd. And he was able to build up like a little bit. He didn't even build up like a lot. He just built up a little bit. Those buffs were nuts. So she's really good with high school UA units, right? That's basically what her entire like kit is built around. I don't have any teacher units like that, and I would never pair them with her. So she herself is a unit that you want out in the very beginning. You want her out in the very beginning. Most of her use, much like Uraraka's, is when they're out in the very beginning. They are not good bench units. Not to say that they can't be good bench units, but they're a lot better in your main team than they are on the sidelines coming off the bench. But it's not like it's a bad thing. It's just you get better use out of it the sooner that you can get her out on the field. You know, immediately. It'd be better if she's out there immediately. And you'll see that thing for like a few minutes. This is basically how I'm gauging, you know, whether or not they're good or not good. And this is another one of her skills where she gives regen for everyone 15% of their HP for 3 turns when the wave starts. And once per battle, she gives herself last stand, which is, you know, guts if you're, you know, a F-Go player. And this is, you would think like, oh wow, that's super OP. It can be, but if you play this game, you'll know there is a lot of multi-hits. There's also burn if you're like Shoto or Endeavor or Dabi. And I think there's bleed too. There's bleed, yeah. So there's bleed with Toga, the hero killer, and I believe there's another unit who has some sort of laceration. I think there's also poison too. Excuse me. So when you factor all of that in, the way it works is it's the same. Okay, so you take a hit, just a singular hit is not like, it's not a super OP version where if you take a hit and then that's just like all hits past that point until your next turn starts is where it's no longer, you know, make you invulnerable. It's just one hit. So if there's residual damage like a burn, any type of dot, damage over time, if you don't know what dot is, she's dead. If there's any type of multi-hits, whether it be in ultimate or just regular skill, and it procs it, she's dead. If she gets hit multiple times and it procs, during that time she gets hits again, she's dead. That's how it works. So it's not as good as you think. It's not good unless you have a unit like Uraraka who gives evasion. Again, evasion's like one of the most broken. It has to be the most broken ability in the game. Like more broken than barrier, and barrier's really good too, but it suffers from the same thing as last stand, in where if it's multi-hits and the barrier has only so many hits, it'll go through. Be it, you know, skill or your ultimate, it works the same. Evasion doesn't work that way. Evasion makes it so whatever that hit is, multi-hit or single target, during that instance of damage, you evade all of it. Excuse me. I've only seen certain abilities go through it, and I'm pretty sure it's because of a hit prior to that. And I've only seen Shota basically get through that. It's the only one I've seen. And that was during a different type of event, not an arena. So I have the team set up this way because, you know, Uraraka's given the intelligence buff. And then Momo herself, like I showed off, is giving off the power for ability types. And my bench is ability. So by the time she comes out, this dude, if I haven't won already, he's going to come out and he's going to get the buff. The reason that's important is because when he is also out, he's going to, when I unlock this, which will be soon, he increases the HP of all ally ability characters by 15%, which is pretty huge, right? And you see my battle power is like massive, and that's because of what I'm going to cover next in these memories. Now, memories are pretty huge. As you can see, they're giving flat stats as well, which is great. You know, percentages, the flat stats and percentages, they scale really well if you play these type of MMOs. World of Warcraft, PoE, stuff like that. Genshin, even, you know, those sort of things, or just, you know, gachas in general operate the same way, which there's a lot of them. Operates the same way. So here again, they're giving HP percentages. This is where the flat HP comes into play, and it matters a lot. So the HP that you see on the character is not their max HP. It's not factoring this in. It doesn't come into play until you go into game, like an actual fight. So excuse me. The more max HP you have and the stats to back it up, the better it is. And there's certain conditions that you'll get off of the memories as well, which is massive. So overall, this is, you know, how you increase your battle power. You see mine is like 209,000, which is, I'd say, is decently high considering like how many days we've had in this game. So there's that. That's pretty much like team building. This is how I would recommend that you build your team, not just like a rainbow. I'm pretty sure there will come a time where rainbow will be like a way to go. But there's not like enough characters to really support that, as far as I'm aware, out of the bench. But on Neji's banner, you can kind of see where they want to go with it, and it's pretty interesting. So here you can, you know, see what the units do, and, you know, their abilities, their max stats, and all that. It shows you awaken and unawaken, which is pretty nice. They also show, you know, the drop rate and everything, but this one I wanted to show off in particular because of its ability, which, you know, supports this theory, and at some point they're going to have, like, you know, rainbow teams be a thing. But for right now, that's not the case. So for here, you know, you get 25% for any strength characters that's just on the team, not on the field, but on the team. You get these buffs from, you know, this card here, which is like actually like really good. And you get skill impact, which is, you know, your abilities that you use. That's not your ultimate. If you have any ability, just one, you just need one, and, you know, that'll satisfy the requirements for this. You get 30% HP if there's intelligence, and this is like maxed out, by the way, so these won't be, you know, the stats that you get when you get this, but it'll still be good enough to run. If there's any mind type characters, you get 25% crit rate, and, you know, 25% speed if there's any dark space. So that's, you know, it's pretty, you know, good, I suppose. But yeah, I would say, as far as like summoning goes, and whether or not, like, as a free-to-play player, should you do so, you only really need to summon until you get the character. After that, you just get out, and even then, you don't want to. I would honestly recommend, you see where my gem count is, I would recommend you stay somewhere around this range. just purely for stamina refreshes. And at some point when you get near the end game, you won't need to do it as much. Excuse me. At most, for the game modes, the most characters you're going to need is 15. That's the most that's like minimum in what you'll need, at least for the, this game mode, which I'm about to get into, which is VE Tower, right? Now VE Tower, this will refresh when the season ends and all that. There's different boosts of characters. So basically what you want to do is go for the mode that has your characters on here. Right? So for me, right? You've seen my team. This would be like, a pretty decent one, right? It's given, damage, there's speed. It's also more damage. Which, I'll be honest, you don't really want that. You basically want to go for the ones that have buffs like this. So Deku and Endeavor, right? You get max HP increases here, and he has damage there, and overall power boost. That's more someone that I would prefer, right? But for us, and this one is also pretty good, but the one I opted for was right here. So these two in particular, like I have Uraraka and I have Shoto. That's the one that I went for. So I'll go in. I've already done B floor. I'm about to do A. The reason I haven't done it yet is because I've been working on getting my team boosted up. And then, again, you're going to be gated, unfortunately, simply from doing the quest lines and stuff. That's like the only thing that's stopping me. Otherwise, I'd just be able to, farm it as much as I want, but you can't do that. So it's my team for that. And then this one's a little bit less. And the reason for that is because it's not as difficult as the first one. And then the third one, this is all I need. And you need to have 5. It won't let you start it unless you have 5. You can see this one got blurred out. It's an incorrect floor, but it won't let you start it if you don't have 5. So there's that. I'm sure there's the one thing that people scream, hey, you didn't do this. You haven't done this yet. So let me talk about this. When you do your summon, I know this is super late, but when you do your summon, you're going to get awakening missions for a unit that you choose out of the rotation. It cannot be one that's off the allotted number, the initial that's in the reroll banner, right? I chose Uraraka. Now, I'm pretty sure this will be different for everybody, but you get specific characters based on the one that you chose to, go with this character. So there's a few in there. It's some of it is like this character doesn't go with this one, because I think Endeavor was in here, but there was a few that just like, why is this one in here? It doesn't work. But here you can see the level up rewards. You start with this one, then you start with that one, and then they'll give you this one for sure is different for whoever you pick. This will not be the same. That one for sure will be different. That's what will be different. The character, and then you get a free ultra rare just from going through the game. I cannot stress enough, because I don't know if they say it here. They don't. They're not saying it. So I'm gonna let you know. Oh, yeah. Missions also level up as you proceed. But then they don't. Okay, so they don't specify this. So I'm gonna do it for you guys. Whenever this is available, you do it. Stop what you're doing. Everything that I told you, you throw it out the window. Okay, when it comes to this, you need to make sure that you do this first If it says go to 1.5, you go to 1.5 first. If it says unlock ability 1, you go and do that first, okay? When it says this, you go and do it first. If you don't go and do this first, it's going to have you come here and then you're going to have to redo it. And the reason that this is a problem is because if I can find it in one of these as an example, the ability board ones, those will automatically be filled, so you don't have to worry about that. This one, okay. So the USJ zone, because I'm going to go to that next. If you've already cleared it, and it's going to do it for this level up quest too. The character level up quest, which sucks. You need to make sure, because so basically, it's not going to have it for the memory level up or the coin quest. It's just the character level up. What ended up happening to me, I finished level 3. By the time I got to the awakening mission that said do level 3, it wasn't complete. I had to redo it, which stopped me from getting to level 6. So, and on top of that, I had already done level 4. So I already used one. I only had 2 tries left. And you cannot refresh this. It does not let you refresh this with gems. So you only get 3 a day if you haven't paid for the other version. Okay? That's why it's super important that you go through this awakening mission as much as you can, as soon as you can. Now, for me, like, when I found that out, it tilted me to all hell. I'm not gonna lie to you. It tilted the absolute hell out of me. I was so annoyed by that for a little bit. Then I got over it. It's like, okay, it's not a big deal. It was for a little bit, but I got over it. Because I'm like, oh man, I just got time gated. I have to wait a whole day, which I did. I had to wait a whole day until I can complete that. And it sucked. Because it kind of put a halt on everything, but I didn't let it stop me from playing the game. I just continued to play the game regularly. And if that happens to you, which it might, if you follow this, it likely won't. But even if it does, continue playing the game anyway, because you'll fall behind a lot more simply stopping to like wait for this and not do anything else than if you would just proceed through the game normally. Okay. And then there's the base, which you'll unlock eventually as well, which is pretty huge, especially right now. I'm going to collect these. So this is basically what you'll be getting, right? And like every so often you'll get stamina, you get coins, and all these other ones, right? And there's a campaign going right now that increases the stock limit for these. So initially the max is, so you get 10 here, whatever it is here, and whatever it is here, and it goes up to 50 for the stamina and, you know, all that other stuff, but it's doubled right now. Maybe all the time that you see this, I'm not sure how they have this campaign set up. Maybe it's like when you start, it might just be during launch, but if it, you know, is during launch, I'm sorry you missed out. But if it's when you start, congrats, you're, you know, blessed. I'm pretty sure it's just like, you know, global. And also there's these missions as well, special missions, which as you can see, it's time gated, so you want to make sure you're doing these, which I have been. And you know, you get these purple tickets which allow you to do summons on this banner here. The gray ones you can just do it on these banners. As you can see, it only shows it for there. And then ticket ones, that's where if you paid, that's where the tickets will be, or if they give us some through events. Also, one thing that you want to keep in mind, when it says to do your free summon, because you get a free summon each day, it is shared between banners. Okay, keep that in mind. So the strength banner right here, then Neji's, they're shared. So choose which one you want to do wisely, because you won't get multiple ones like how you do for, you know, other games. Some games do that, some don't. So it's a mixed bag. It's not really like a, oh, this game doesn't do most of the other ones. Nah, it's mixed. So I just want to say that and keep that in mind. Here's the ticket banner. As you can see, when you exchange through here, you get these stars. And this is what I mean by you don't need to get extra dupes of a character. You just simply need to get the character and then you're good. The reason I say that is because when you go to the gear shop, Jesus, that's a long loading time. There's a long loading time as well. So here, this is the coins that you get from selling memories, which you get a lot if you're playing through the game right now when the double drop is available. You're gonna get a lot of those, so it's very beneficial for you to be playing right now, if I'm being honest. I've looked through here. There's a few things that are like standing out to me in these top hero devices. And as you can see here is for your memory auto skills. That's where you get the extra abilities from. If you're running how you unlock that, that's how you unlock that. So that's something that you would look out for. You don't really need to worry about the stamina. That's not really worth it here. Main thing is those devices. The rest of the stuff in here is like super inconsequential unless you like absolutely need that stuff. It's not really worth it. Same thing with these. I would steer clear away from these. These aren't good. These memories, these super rare memories, because they only boost the power for specific types. It's not very good. It's really not good in comparison to these, which these are more for characters like Shota, and whenever we get Midnight and a good present Mike. That's not a super rare, it's an ultra rare. We're definitely going to get an ultra rare Midnight. I'm looking forward to seeing her. This is mainly for Shota and All Might. Basically who it's for. We don't have any other characters that get these main buffs, at least on the ultra rare side. For the super rare, we have present Mike, I'm pretty sure, but the rest of them, it's not really useful. As you can see here, critical rate is increased for hero character. Any hero character includes the high school students, but the second part of it, which is pretty important, that's only for the high school teachers. So it's a bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. As you can see here, is for a UA high school student, increase the power by 25%. It's pretty nice, and the character speed is increased by 25% for the teachers. Same thing. And then this one's for villains specifically. It increases power by 35, and the ultra gauge increased by 10 when used successfully with a skill chain up to 3 times. So you get 30% from that, which is, you know, it's all right. It's pretty good. The rest of these aren't anything to speak about. These characters, it's kind of whatever. Honestly, I'll be honest, this is pretty whatever. All Might, you can get this from doing the VE tower. I would say this All Might is good, right? I'm not sure what a static does. I haven't seen it yet. I also haven't seen anybody with this character, so he's basically just all this All Might wants to do is get his ultimate gauge up as soon as possible, and these two memories support that. As you can see, once per battle, increases your, you know, ultra gauge by a lot when you get below a certain HP threshold, and All Might gets more buffs as his HP gets lower, so it's good for him. And he also gets last stand in his kit. That also gives last stand. The only problem with that is if he's that squishy, which I'd say he's above average with his base stats and his overall bulk, but he can get blown up pretty easily if he doesn't have the proper support, which I think is kind of what they were going for, but that's not really what you want from him. You basically want him out on the field as much as he possibly can be. And you can see, you know, there's these here that you can grab. There's also this ultra rare memory limit breaker. I think that's also pretty useful. So I would say All Might for sure you want to grab out of here. These aren't as necessary just because you can use, you know, the stars. It is pretty costly. Whereas, you know, otherwise there's top hero devices, which again, you can go for it if you want, but I would say the main thing to get is the memory ultra rare breaker in these two memories. Whichever one, like I would say this one probably has more merit, but it depends on like the build of your team. Whereas otherwise this one will probably be better in allowing you to get your ultra gauge up immediately. But there's so much support that he's already going to, like, off of his ability alone, which is increasing it by 80, which is why I say that that's all it does, which is that to me, I don't like it. It's good if you can get it off, and if you have, you know, proper support, then, you know, you're gonna blow somebody up. It's basically like a burst character, so it's good in that regard. But if you get blown up, like, again, this is what I mean. Like, if you don't go first and your, you know, character gets blown up, and there's a good amount of characters that have multi-hits, you'll be in trouble. So that's why I've opted not to build my teams that way. You can see I have 71 stars here, and when you get the character, guess what? You know how in some games, after a certain amount, you pretty much have to, you know, the price goes up. This price is stagnant. It stays this way. It's saying that it doesn't. Oh yeah, it actually does. Okay. So depending on how many times you've done this, it'll go up after that. But look at the amount. By the time you even get here, the character is basically maxed out. In all honesty, you don't like, if you need this many, that won't come for a long time. Like what the game currently has available, which is why I say, like, it's pretty much negligible. I'll be honest, it's honestly negligible. So you'll have enough to pretty much like awaken the character, and then pretty much get there. I think you'll tap into like the 10 stars at that point per 5 to max out their peace route, but it's not that much, to be honest. And the reason I say it's not that much anyway, it doesn't really matter, is because you'll come here, doing arena is like super important. Doing arena is like basically your lifeline as a free-to-play player. Semi pay to win doesn't really matter. The value here is like massive. I would say avoid this 70-star one, because unless you just have like a crap ton of arena coins to just throw at it. The reason I say this is because the value, right? So for this one it's 50 for 1400. This one it's 30 for 750, and then here it's 20 for 450, right? So you add all of those together, what is that? 2,600 for what, 100 stars, right? That's 300 more coins than this 70-star one. So the value automatically is like there. The 10-star one, you can pretty much, like, if you want to, you can. This is also how you'll be getting, you know, a good amount of your proteins, your speed jellies, and your HP flakes, which is like, that's a lot. It's actually pretty worth it once you clear out the stars. But you can update this, and then this also gets, you know, updated as well. So it's pretty, like, all of this stuff is pretty much limited. So clear out as much of this as you want to, and then the rest of it, you know, you do what you will. But what else is there? The dispatch, right. Dispatch, before I get into anything else, because this is also another way where you get your stamina. You want to put these out in, we have a campaign here. The item drop rate increases by 2. Does not do so for the stamina, I don't believe, because I've gotten 80 per run for at least for the 8-hour one, so that's 160, and I do at least 2 of these a day. So what, like 320 stamina for free that I'm getting through this, so it's like pretty good. On top of like the other materials that are in here, which is like, you know, experience for the characters and the memory as well. So that's huge. What else? Yeah, let's go back here. So again, this one as well, you want to make sure that you're doing this like on with what they're asking for. And this, you know, resets. The tries reset, they you know, build up as the day goes through, and after a while, you know, it just resets with the day, and then you have the full amount. Events, there's not too much to this. This is another reason why Rock is like one of the best units in the game, is because of this event right here. You'll get, so I have this 3-starred, right? I have all of these 3-starred. I'm waiting on this one. I have that one 3-starred as well. But the reason I was able to clear this with 3 stars is because of how busted evasion is. So she's really good here. And I'll just show this off. Like, you see, increases based off of these bonuses, and they show you what the bonuses are here. So you get 20 for characters, and then 10% for this memory off the banner. This one's also off the banner. This one is free to play. You get that from the shop. And the bonuses go down by 1%, at least for the free to play one, per limit break. So what I did before I just decided to limit break, because I pretty much got everything I want out of the shop outside of this last one, which I'm not worried about, because I'll get that as well. And they got some of these as well. They got some good stuff here. I'm a little pressed for time, that's why I'm trying to hurry up. But yeah, the first thing I got here when I first went through the game is the experience bars, the coins as well, because coins are really scarce to come across. And then like after that, and you know, the recruit tickets, which I got Neji off of, and the HP stats, and the memories, and the character developed ones, which I got like later on when my account was developed. The main thing that you want to focus on is getting these first, because it increases, like, you want to get these and put them on, like, once you clear the stage, you want to put these memory. You don't want to put them all into limit breaking just yet. The reason for that is what I showed off here. The reason why I highlighted this, that 3% is per copy of this. So you put it on each one of the characters, and then it counts. So you can get more of a percentage after you clear it, because once you clear it, you can use tickets, and then it counts. That's why it has, you know, the set team thing here, so you can do that. So, you know, that's pretty cool. Last thing, arena. Like I said, I haven't dropped a single game. It's not going to show all of them, but like the people that I've been fighting, again, like you can see, I don't really drop. This one, that was like probably one of the harder ones, but as you can see, Shoto just like, he's the guinea pig. He just kind of gets blown up. And this one was pretty close as well. But you can see my core for Rock and Neji, they don't get broken. They don't get broken too often. And as you can see, like, these are the tiers. Again, I haven't been doing this too much just because I've been focusing more on, you know, building up my team. But now I'm finally in here, you know, I'm starting to do that a little bit more. And then it doesn't really show the rankings of this, so I can't, you know, show too much of that off. But here's the rewards for it. So it's worth it, man. It's worth it to do it. And you have plenty of time, like in the season, to do this. So I would say, you know, do all that. I don't think there's too much left that I missed. And if I did, let me know in the comments. But that'll do it for here. Make sure you you know, save up enough gems to refresh stamina every day is really important. But let me know what you guys think of this game. You love it, hate it? Yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.